T-minus 10 seconds. We are go for launch.
As someone who has lived in Korea for over 7 years now, from the ages of 19 to 27, and finished my bachelor's degree here, working at a tech company in Seoul, there are honestly so many things that I love about living here in Korea, especially in a big city like Seoul. But there are some things that I don't get about the Korean culture.
So let's talk about that.
This is me low-key trying to figure out an integral aspects of the Korean culture through making this video. Please watch with an open mind. Have you heard of the word
정이 뭐예요?
정이 많다?
정 떨어진다, 진짜.
죄업다, 죄업나.
What is Jeong? When you ask Korean people what Jeong is, they'll often say that it is difficult to explain it in English or hard to convey it clearly to foreigners.
Jeong is very complex idea and also a concept, but I think it refers to a form of some kind of emotional attachment or bond between people or towards something.
Some words that likely explain this feeling, this emotion: affection, goodwill, connection, familiarity, or friendliness. 한국말로는
친밀감,
친절함이라고 하면 될 것 같아요. Honestly, it's true. Like, I'm a foreigner to Korean people and I don't get the concept of Jeong clearly. I'll be generalizing a lot, but when Korean people don't know you, they'll be so cold towards you. Like, there's no concept of small talk or making eye contact. Everyone just stares at their phones.
하루 종일 진짜.
And they don't want to interact with you. It's gonna be so odd if they do interact with you on the street. But the same people who were cold when they get to know you or they're introduced to you through a friend, they'll be so warm and generous. A Jekyll and Hyde kind of behavior. And this behavior is not limited to non-Koreans. It's within the Korean people as well. Like, ask anyone from Korea. Why I don't understand Jeong is the kindness part could be just a person's personality and it doesn't have to do anything with the culture. So when someone is kind and generous towards you, it's probably just because they were brought up that way or they're the exception. I also interviewed a few of my Korean friends who have lived abroad to help me understand this concept better.
정이 뭐예요?
I think Jeong is sharing love and caring each other.
Yeah, I think Jeong is a very Korean specific term, but for me, it personally means a strong kinship, familiarity, and friendship.
I feel my home brings me Jeong. It's not only a place where I live in, but with my all family who cares about me and loves me.
With the fast-paced lifestyle in Seoul, do you think people still have time to develop kindness or friendship towards each other?
I think it really depends, but comparing the time of my youth, right now is much harder to develop or improve Jeong between people because there's less time of communication with strangers. We don't talk to our neighbors, and I think right now is kind of like the hard time where you can improve or improve Jeong.
I think Jeong has to be a two-way street, but I believe that I still have hope in Seoul, and I still believe that we still have time and also space to develop Jeong.
I think it's like in our blood. I think there's just an automatic connection, like we're made for Jeong. So I feel like no matter what, it's just part of us.
And do you think that over the years, the concept of Jeong has changed among the younger generations in Korea?
Jeong itself is the same. It's been the same, but how we perceive it and how people take it differently or have changed, not Jeong itself. So I don't know how the younger generations, including myself, hopefully take Jeong as, but I think the concept is still there and it's still the same.
Well, I mean, like in the past, we like if we moved to a new place and we would like knock on our neighbors and they say, "Oh, hi, we're the new family who moves in." But now we don't. We became more individualized lives, and then we're more like selfish, I think, compared to the past. So I think the concept itself stays the same, but right now it's hard to get to know or like get to learn more about Jeong society or community. Yeah.
It's so weird because I know they'll be super nice to me once they have been formally introduced to me, but until that introduction has taken place, we literally don't exist for each other.
I think Korea is a place where there's just so many fast changing trends and addition of trends, and so with all that, I think it kind of gets muddled and we lose the kind of purity of Jeong. Yeah, I think in that sense maybe we're losing that. For the most part, I feel like wouldn't it stay the same?
Sometimes I can still feel that Jeong is a part of the Korean culture. Would you say that Jeong is still a part of the Korean culture?
I would say yes, because there are people with a lot of Jeong.
And I'll give you some examples. Do you consider yourself to be someone who has a lot of Jeong?
I think so because I have genuine heart for, to have friendship and also love towards this world. So I think I have Jeong still.
Jeong is evident in the way the staff at any store treats you. They're usually extremely kind. They'll always greet you in a very cheery tone. They'll be like, 안녕하세요. 필요하신 거 있으면 말씀해 주세요 at Olive Young. And when you leave, they'll be like, 안녕히 가세요. Lots of restaurants and privately owned cafes give complimentary food to you just to show kindness and generosity and that they value you as a customer. The other day, I went to this cafe in Mangwon with my friends and the service was so amazing. They were super friendly, they were so kind and gave us complimentary coffee. The bus drivers greet you and wish you a good day. It is so kind. As a foreigner, you also get complimented a lot for speaking just a little bit of Korean. Around 5-6 years ago, when I was still a K-pop fan, I went to this SF9 High Touch event. The staff of their company, they gave all the fans free tteokbokki. That was a gesture of Jeong. At every company that I've worked for until now, if they can afford it, they would provide us with free lunches, free dinners. Korean companies and organizations, they take positive ownership of the workers, which I really like. I mean, there's a lot to complain about, but this is an aspect that I really like. The other day, I went to the convenience store to buy some snacks for my cats, and the manager of the store has a puppy. She noticed that I was buying stuff for my cats and asked me if I had any pets, and she gave me
free snacks for cats.
And I thought that was such a lovely gesture. Whenever there's an event by a Korean organization, let's say the K-influencer program that I'm under, I feel like completely taken care of by that organization. They handle our travel, meals, snack expenses. They plan out everything and all we have to do is just follow them. The concern they show for the members, I think that is also a sign of Jeong. So talking about these examples kind of makes me realize that if I look for it, Jeong still exists in a lot of places in the city. At the end of the day, your experiences are a reflection of who you are and you receive what you give out. If the feeling of Jeong were a food, what would it taste like?
I don't know how other people answer to this, but when like Korean people think about Jeong, it's the first like thought that it comes to your mind is chocolate. Not a detailed reason, but it's just because of the advertisement that I've learned like since I was really young.
First of all, it has to be warm and maybe very comforting as well. So I think of 국밥, very welcoming in a way, and hot, warm, and it fulfills you too. So and it's also available whenever it's ready. So
I think it's such a cliche answer, but really it's kimchi is one of my favorite dishes that my mom or my grandmother would make. It's just like dubu kimchi, which is like tofu and kimchi, and tofu is like one of my favorite foods. But that pair, I think it just rings home. It rings comfort and it sits like comfortably on the stomach too. And so yeah, comfort food for me, I think yeah.
Watch more of sansverse's videos. I swear to God, it is entertaining.